Why, hello there. So I have a story to tell you. So I'll try to keep it simple, but essentially, I'm a wizard. I'm very magical. I have a high manifesting and attraction ability. And this story might not make sense, but I assure you it is real. So basically, we all know that there's this one world Illuminati cult that controls this world. And basically, I was working at a psychedelic dispensary. And there, I sold magic. We sold magic. And basically, I'm saying that it was a cult of witches and warlocks. And it was ran by a wizard. And it was like a coven. And basically, they were the ground level for the Illuminati. And essentially, we were the gatekeepers of knowledge. And I learned a lot about magic there, and a lot about the occult, and a lot about energy, and a lot about about what magic is and witchcraft. It's energy manipulation, knowledge of the universe, knowledge of energy, and everything is energy. And once you start realizing that, you start playing the game differently. But essentially, I learned that psychedelics, I had mastered essentially psychedelics, and essentially they're natural tools used to heal the body and the mind, and free the mind, and break previously rigid mental connections that created cycles and patterns. And essentially they're designed to peer into the spiritual realm and essentially see through the veil. And basically, I learned that you're basically in the spiritual realm when you use these things. And basically, it teaches a monistic, nihilistic type belief, which when you do psychedelics, because there are external forces that teach knowledge. But basically, the knowledge is that we are all one, we are all God, and we are all connected. And that we are stuck in an infinite cycle of birth, life, death, and reincarnation. And it's an infinite cycle. And that God is everything and dualistic in nature because he is the evil and the good. And it's just a huge experience of consciousness. And essentially, once this knowledge has been kept secret by the cult that controls this world, and this Illuminati cult that controls the world, they control all governments, and they control all corporations, and they network, and they use signs and symbols to communicate. But basically, they do the things they do. They're essentially destroying the world. They're destroying the world because they want to break the matrix. They want to break the never-ending cycle of birth, life, death, and reincarnation. So in a sense, they're actually doing what they think is right. They're trying to free humanity. Their great work, so to speak. But basically, it's out of fear, right? It's out of fear of dying. But I'm saying that death is part of life. It's like a natural process. And that one should not fear it. Because if you think about it, like if you live here long enough, would you want to experience another lifetime of suffering, right? But essentially, this is a story. So they're trying to destroy this matrix by blending opposites, by blending the dualities of good and evil, of all races, of male, female, of technology and man. They want to blend everything because they believe that they can destroy this construct that is the demiurge of polar opposites, and essentially escape this realm to become gods. But I'm telling you that I've personally experienced the infinity, like it's like a sickness. I forgot what it was called, but it's like a sickness that you experience. It's like a highly when you do these psychedelics. And I'm telling you, this is how the world works. This matrix is controlled by this pyramid scheme. And I think they're deceivers. I think the pyramid scheme is controlled by evil. And I think the people following it are confused and are following evil, therefore they're following shadow. Therefore they're confused and get lost because they're not following light. Because God is light and love. And yeah, they're essentially following the wrong thing, because essentially I felt this experience where it's a terrifying experience, and I've felt it many a time on psychedelics, and from different concoctions of sorcery, different mixtures. You're going into the spiritual realm, and essentially these entities, they mentally put these ideas, and essentially you come to the great conclusion of the great truth. Essentially the ultimate truth, that we're all one and that we're all God and that we're basically alone. Like once you physically feel like connected to reality, and you're like, oh shit, I actually am God. And then basically you start freaking out because you realize you're alone, and that you realize that everything around you is you, and that you want to forget. So you immediately want to regress and forget. It's like in the Matrix, it's like Morpheus, Cypher. He wanted to go back into the Matrix because he said ignorance was bliss. And it's like a mental fracturing that happens to the mind once you learn this truth. It's like a fear because you realize nothing matters, and that this is why these Illuminati occultists, they lose their mind, and that's why they do the things they do, because they believe that everything's energy, that everything is so basically it can kill someone and it doesn't matter because they're just going to reincarnate, and it's just energy, it's just you, right, in a sense, right? So they're trying to just sacrifice the few to save the many by breaking the infinity cycle. But I am telling you that it's a lie. I'm telling you that I felt this experience many times. The longest, it was like 20 minutes. So I was 20 minutes torturing in my mind, and I felt like you might as well just kill yourself, because everything is like a cycle, right? That we're here to experience, but nothing really matters, because your mother, your father, your parents, your lovers, your friends, your family, you'll never see them forever. But the truth is that's a lie. The truth is that God, He's pure love. He loves you unconditionally. True love that this earth doesn't understand, that humanity doesn't understand, that this new age movement doesn't understand, that God would not create you and throw you away. That just because we're connected to each other, just because we are all energy and connected to one another, doesn't mean that we are all one hive mind. It's a deception from evil to combine with evil. And essentially, that's what this one world system is about. It's about accepting all things evil. And other cultures, I mean, the Bible even mentions, that's why I love the Bible. It's just like, God He wrote it, His instruction manual. It was in John. Yeah, it was in John. It's like a danger. There's a danger in loving everything randomly, unconditionally. Because then you're gonna bump into evil and love it, and it's gonna hurt you. And believe me, from my experience, it's always the case. You have to guard your heart chakra. Or was it in Mark? Well, who cares? Whatever. The point is, I'm saying that there's a danger in accepting everything, like in the Buddhist and Hindu beliefs. Like Buddhism came from ancient Hinduism, and essentially, Buddhism and followers of Christ, they teach this similar thing, right, of love, but in the end, there's a split. And the split is that either you can believe in that you are God, and everything's infinite, or you can believe in an absolute good and evil, that good and evil are separate, that everything that is not of God is evil, right? And that there is an absolute beginning of time and an absolute end of time. And that God has a perfect plan for you and purpose for you. And he loves you and he wouldn't throw you away. But you have to draw near to him because he cannot accept evil. He cannot accept wicked because he is pure and perfect. And what else do I want to say? I want to make another video about energy after this video, because it's very important that you guys understand energy and how it works and how people use that knowledge to affect you, you non-magic muggle folk. Because right now the floodgates have been opened and all knowledge will be revealed to the common people. Peace.